This conference will now be recorded.
She doesn't talk, but it says it's recording.
All right.
Still thinking.
The Kite Grove Town Board will hold a special meeting at the Town Hall at 4058 County Road and on Monday, October 30th, 2023 at 6:30 PM to work on the 2024 town budget. You can also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. The meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. I'll call the meeting to order. First item is consider adopt motion to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C, for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. 2024 employee compensation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Duplace, second by Williams. Roll call. Mike.
Aye.
Steve. Aye. Chris. Aye. Christie.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
We're going into closed session.
This conference will now be recorded.
Any action from a closed session?
Move that we approve the wages as we discussed with the suggestion from Supervisor Williams regarding the clerk treasurer's proposed wage increase for next year.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Williams. So what you're doing is you're increasing it from 35 to 36 and then the 6%.
6% for, yeah, for everybody else.
For everybody else.
Except for Amber and Danielle, so that's 26.
Right.
Correct.
Everything else is as printed.
Yes.
Discussion on that motion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is to review town fees. Anybody have any questions on that?
I just want to raise a question about dog license fee, multi-dog up to 12.
Yeah.
Really want to stay with up to 12?
Has the county raised theirs?
No. Up to 12 is, that's what a multi-dog license is
Okay.
up, it's one license basically with 12, up to 12 tags. So really not much more work for us than a single license, but they're paying for all those extra tags.
Okay,
So
thank you.
and we don't pay for the tags. So
That was the only question I have.
Well, nothing on alcohol beverage.
What's that?
No changes to alcohol beverage fees.
That's normally the same anyway.
Lasting permits. Is short term as much work as a long term?
I don't think it makes any difference at all. I think it's the same, you know? I mean, we have to go through all the same steps to issue the permit. It just, they have it for longer.
So everybody's okay with it? That
Yep.
down in the emergency response reimbursement fees, the personnel, should those be increased?
I mean, it's been years since we did anything.
I know we haven't had one, but if we don't change our ordinance, we can't.
No, right. But Didn't we speak with the fire chief or spoke with somebody next door that, oh, we don't need to change anything or, or it's not needed to be changed? I just can't believe that over the last several years.
I know.
I think I sent this to Nick last week, but I might have dreamed it too, so.
I didn't,
I think I sent this to Nick and asked him to look at the fees, but like I said, I was sick last week and I might have dreamed it.
I'd be tempted to raise them $5.
That sounds good to me. If it's worth it. So it'll be $20 per hour for first hour.
That's pretty cheap per hour.
I'd do 20 and 15
Sounds
at a
good.
minimum.
Sounds good.
Yeah, even though they're volunteers.
Yeah.
And we haven't changed anything, any of the rental rates for any of the apparatus either.
No, but that comes from the feds, doesn't
I
it?
think so, yeah.
Oh,
That comes from
they
the
haven't
feds
changed it?
for emergency response vehicles.
I did send it to Nick.
Fireworks, I only have one a year. On impact fees for the improvements for recreation, is that still good at 1160
That's,
per new dwelling unit?
I don't really know how you would face anything different.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see anything else. Do you have any changes to any of your overweight?
No, actually, it's been getting better the last few years.
So should we schedule an increase for emergency response personnel,
Yes.
20 and 15.
Yeah.
20 and 15? So then.
Do we just, there's no ambulances in there, is there just all fire equipment?
Yeah.
Do you have something similar to this? In the event that you're hired out, so to speak,
Ambulances we get to charge.
right, but if you, well, you're familiar with what I'm talking about, that the reimbursement rates for,
We have standard special event rates and we would just probably apply those as the same.
okay, but that's just
For the-
locally
For the
determined?
ambulance, yeah. Well, and I guess it would depend on the type of incident, and this might delve more into emergency government type stuff, right?
Correct. It's
Um,
like when we went over to, meaning I don't have a mouse in my pocket, over to, was it Watertown for that big tire fire?
Yeah.
Where we had units over there for days or whatever that situation is. I know you didn't have a rig over there, correct? Or did
No.
As far as I know, no.
No.
It was just fire.
Okay, but I'm just saying, in an incident like that, where there may be a requirement that you have a rig there for, and I can't think of a reason why off the top of my head, but what would you, I mean, there's not standardized federal government reimbursement rates for ambulances that you're aware of, or?
Well, I think my first reply would be, the reason we got over there would be because of a mutual aid request through the MABUS system. And there's, in those responses, because at some point in time, we might get it in return, that's the fee, is that you enter yourself into the system in hopes that when you need it, you'll get it in return.
Okay.
But there could be stuff that's outside of it, and maybe that's what this is for, where it's no longer an emergency response, but it's not part of the emergency response, but they need some fire apparatus there for coverage because of whatever reason, then there would be a billing angle to it.
Well, like I know we billed, when the co-op had that fire, that ongoing fire, we billed that. We billed for time.
For the fire department there,
Yep.
yes.
That's the only time I can think of that we billed for it.
Okay.
Okay. Discuss, consider town budget for fiscal year 2024, revenue estimate. Everybody read through those, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Any questions?
We need more money.
Yeah, right.
No. I don't have a printing press.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm sure I don't.
Oh, excuse me.
So we're okay with the revenue estimates.
Well, I mean, the first whole section is taxes, and then the intergovernmental revenue, that's pretty much
Set.
set, yeah. You do have 124,000 of ARPA funds left that you'll have to commit next year and spend by the end of the following year. So I just put the full amount in there as a revenue source. You're gonna have to decide exactly how you want to allocate those. I don't know if you want to get into that now or if you want to wait.
When we get to the expenses.
Okay.
Under ordinary income expenses, you have the GEC price increases are coming soon.
Yeah, that's for building inspection. They're supposed to be having some increases this year. I haven't seen it yet. Basically, what we budget here for is what we're gonna pay GEC and what we're gonna take in building permit revenue, and we keep about a $10,000 difference between the two. So if it does increase between now and when the final budget is approved, we won't change the bottom line. We'll just keep the same difference between the two. So
It's kind of a wash.
it kind of washes out,
Okay.
yeah, because we aren't gonna
I'm
make
just curious, that's all.
much more ourselves. It might be tiny, but. The rest of them, I dropped driveway permits because we don't have as many new lots out there anymore. I
No.
don't even know if that'll be, that's what. That might be even high what I have in there. Same thing with, well, I guess zoning permits, we left the same. We seem to have no ends on all the rezones. So, law and ordinance, I increased a little bit, just looking at what it was last year and what it is so far this year. I don't know if not having 3 deputies on for part of the year is gonna hit that at all, though. Refuse and recycling. So a couple of years ago, we went to, on the tax bill, charging in arrears instead of ahead. It used to be that the amount that we collected on the tax bill was exactly equal to what we were gonna pay waste management because we were doing it in advance, but you're not supposed to do that, so we switched it. So they're a little bit different now, where we're charging for 23 pickup, but we're paying for 24, so it's a little, they're not exactly the same, or about 5% off or whatever the increase is. I'm not quite, haven't got quite everything I need to figure out what the specials on the tax bill are gonna be, because it depends on how many more occupancy permits we're gonna get and who's gonna start trash this year, but we're pretty darn close there. So that number, refuse and recycling, 41,210 and 41,230 might change just a little bit. I think in the end here, we're gonna end up putting some unassigned funds in, and I'm just gonna ask that as I fine tune that before we get closer to the end, I'll just fine tune it with the unassigned funds if I need to, because it won't be much. What else today? This developer reimbursements fund, 42,260. That's, the money that we have on, that we will have to ask to have on escrow from basically Houston for this whole sewer project. So if that for some reason doesn't go through, that number will be under budget, but so will our legal and planner bills by the same amount. So I think that, I think the attorney had 25 and Mark had 12 or something like that in their budgets for that project. So that's where that's coming from. Liberty Cemetery funds are done. We close that account up and use the last of it this year, so we won't be seeing that going forward. Landfill compensation is supposed to go up by CPI. You know, it's up a little more than CPI because the estimate was a little low for this year's payment, so I base it on CPI with this year's payment, not this year's budget. Village fire payment includes their portion of the operating budget plus their portion of the capital purchases, which is Squad 1 and the pagers. The thing is that we are in the budget here, we have it assuming that they're going to pay their share on 23 equalized values, which is what it normally would be when you buy something in 24. They're saying they're going to use 22 equalized values. So,
Could be a bit of a fight on that one.
so
Same with the tanker. They refused to pay for that.
So if they don't, if we don't get them to agree to using the 2023 equalized values, our share is about $12,000 more. Just so you know. So their payments will be reduced by about that $12,000. So if you
So
have,
how does that work then? So we're paying for it. Do we rent it to them if needed, or?
Well, take them to court.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, what if they, it's called into the village to do something and we paid for it, then what?
It's no different than the other vehicles that we've owned over the years. We just,
well, in this squad,
We let them,
they are gonna pay for it.
have
They
it for
just,
nothing or what?
pretty much. What's that, Kim?
this squad, they are not saying they're not gonna pay a share for, they're just trying to pay a year's behind on equalized values.
Previous
When it was
Equalized.
The way
ordered
it's gonna be
versus when
paid for. Yeah.
versus when it's delivered.
So if you're confident that you're gonna get them to come around and pay based on 23 equalized values, then this budget is right. If we aren't successful with that, we're gonna be short by $12,000.
What do you think, Chris?
Says in the contract, delivery date.
Okay,
How hard is that to understand?
well, obviously it's hard for them to understand.
I realize that.
I did see in the recording of the last joint fire meeting that it seemed like Dave Peterson was gonna go back and talk some more about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where that number sits, that's 633, 188. And the rest of those are really nothing to change. Interest in the statute, you know, we get great interest from Monona Bank. They really treat us well, or Lake Ridge, or whatever it is. Yeah, but,
Lake Ridge.
anyway, you can see that in 22, we only had 33,000. We've already got 98,000 this year in interest. Now, the other thing is we're carrying $124,000 of ARPA funds out there.
Right.
And so your balance that you're carrying is gonna go down. I don't know what interest rates are gonna be, so I kind of pulled a number out of the sky with that 70. And if you have a better idea, I don't have any reason to argue with you.
You know, I don't.
I don't either.
Then you got rent, sale of equipment.
Yeah, that's the sale of the 2012 pickup that Dan's estimating 20 on.
Yeah. Hopefully get more.
I don't have anything budgeted in here for the sale of Squad 1.
God only knows what we'll get. Take a guess.
Definitely not what you got for the tender.
Got my fingers crossed.
I know whatever we get. will
All of the
go-
advantages,
go in undesignated.
it's a pre-emissions vehicle, so that's the only.
You get something, but I don't know if it's worth putting a number in there.
I don't think so.
I don't either.
So then you get down to the long-term debt. So that includes borrowing for Squad 1 at what's left after the village's portion, plus using 22 and 23 fire dues, which reduces it by 38,000 or something like that. And then also in that borrowing has taken the balance of that 22 long-term note that we had to use for a new F-550 and the balance for additional road maintenance. So that would increase your long-term debt by $493,717. Chris had brought up potentially just doing a one-year note for that, for the new F-550, instead of putting it into that same loan, taking it out of that same loan. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not.
Rather than tying it up for 10 years, we could do a 1 year and pay it off the following year for that F-550.
And then you'd have another 97,000 to put towards road projects.
You saying pay the 32,000 off? Or what? Or what?
No. That's just the dollar change from last year's permit.
193,000?
493,000 is what you would be looking at borrowing next year.
When you said paying it off.
No,
Oh, not borrowing or borrow for the F-550, but put it on a 1 year note.
and then increase highway maintenance by 97,000, right?
Yeah. Do more roads than normal. Spread it out over 10 years.
Why are other board expenses so high this year?
Because Ellers is in there.
Ellers.
That wasn't budgeted.
Thank you. That'll do it.
Yeah.
What's in there? I'm sorry.
Ellers.
Ellers.
Oh, Ellers, okay.
Well, you said doing more roads, what do you mean?
Add that
97.
97,000 that we have left over of that 500 that when we took it out was NatVig, but we didn't use it for NatVig.
Mhm.
Put that 97 in his road budget for next year to do additional blacktopping or seal coating, whatever we decide when we do road inspection.
And that's a need?
Always.
Well, yeah, always is good, but is it needed? You know,
Yes.
We've been doing so much every year.
1000% needed, because you haven't changed dollar amount in
350,000.
10 years since I've been here.
We would add 97.
Cost goes up every year. So we get less and less road work done every year. The cost goes
Especially
up.
this year.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's gonna go up next year too.
But
So,
we can always see roads getting done.
Yeah.
They could be the best in the world and we're still gonna look at doing roads and I'm not into that. Never have been. And I don't know how the rest of you feel, but nothing has to be a Taj Mahal about how we do roads.
Well, that-
Plenty of roads here that are far from,
No,
Being
I
a Taj
agree.
Mahal.
I agree. There's,
And that, Mike, that 97,000 is only at 2.87.
yeah.
6.5.
Yeah.
Where we at? What's,
If we're done there, we're town board and plan commission, emergency government,
mhm.
no real changes there. We have clerk.
can we take a small step backward?
Far.
Just go back to the plan commission.
Okay,
Our plan commission is being asked and expected to do more and more and more and more. And, you know, paying somebody $25 to show up in this day and age, you know, to do what we're asking them to do, I think they deserve a bump. Because it's been 15 years, 20, at least 15 years since they had, well, it's all, I don't think it's ever been anything but for as long as I've been on the board. And, you know, they're just as important part of the township as, in some cases, as all of us are. And to throw them a bone, you know, and I'm not, even if we bumped it $10 a meeting, you know, it probably would be what, under $1,000 for the whole year. I think they deserve it.
maybe 600 a year,
Huh?
600 a year, plus FICA.
And it's maybe less than that because we've had a couple of months where we've had nothing, you know, so it's not a huge expense and I just think it would, you know, send a message that, hey, we're thinking about you.
I
Well,
can support.
They're picked like everybody else, every other committee. And so what you're saying is they're way more important than the other committees.
What other committees are you talking about?
Well, I don't know, emergency government,
How much do you get paid?
recreation, I don't know. They're picked to do a job the same as everybody else's.
There's a difference between a commission and a committee.
I got it. I understand that.
And I don't, who's on your emergency government besides yourself?
Me?
Okay, then you
There's a
don't
total
count.
of 4.
You don't
Yeah.
count because you're a town board member.
There's a total of 6, right? Yeah, no,
There's 5.
You got 3 other people, you
6.
know,
And how much do they get paid per meeting?
25.
25.
Everybody does.
Okay, well, I don't know.
The
I'm just-
level of expertise though, I mean, the plan commissioners are supposed to understand the comprehensive plan. They're supposed to understand Dane County zoning. There's a lot
Supposed to.
that they are expected to be able to apply and keep up with. which is probably true to emergency government.
Fine.
And we've had people on the committee that have no clue at times. And basically you two run things. You agree with that or not?
A couple of years ago, I
Well,
would
I'm just
say,
saying.
no, a couple of years ago, I would say yes. However,
There's a
for the
learning
crew,
curve to
there are
everything.
people
Hmm?
who are not so far behind the power curve anymore. I mean, we do have people that are taking an interest and doing some homework before the meeting, so they at least know what's going on before they open their packet for the first time, you know? And so, to me,
You don't think they go by what you two do?
not all the time.
Well,
Troy?
you question
I
that
mean,
a
I
little
can
bit
think
right off the
Dave
bat
Buell.
there.
You know, I mean, I could probably think of Troy, Dave Mule, Mr. Myler. You know, those folks have spoken up, certainly not lockstep with Chris and I, you know, so to speak. I mean, they've had constructive criticism on whatever the topic might have been.
I think that, and I've talked to the county about this before too, that it'd be nice if like the county or the towns association or somebody put on training on a regular basis, because it is huge and it's overwhelming. And I think a lot of what you see at the table here, especially with the two newer ones, is they're just completely overwhelmed by it. And
Yeah, I think so too.
I do think that it would, or I sure wouldn't argue with paying them more, but I also would say that we should maybe be working harder to give them the training and the confidence that they need.
No argument from me there.
And I'm not saying they shouldn't get more money.
No, you're right. And I haven't taken it that way.
Mhm.
But for somebody willing to go ahead and spend their time, you know, it's volunteer, but it's not volunteer, you know, if I know what I'm saying.
It's
It's
another
not
one
like
of
me
those,
working for 50 cents an hour back in the day on the ambulance service.
it's
you know.
another one of those things that, especially if you do get them to the point where they have the knowledge that they should, you want them to stay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, from the peanut gallery, volunteering is decreasing drastically. And you are asking someone, you're giving them a stipend to volunteer to do something. They still have to volunteer, they still have to apply. And I love you all to death, but are there people that are knocking down the door to come take over for your spots when you decide to not run for them anymore? No. And it's the same for those other positions. So you have to Kim's point, do what you can to attract new people and keep the ones that you have. And if that means maybe a little bit of extra dollars to all of the stipends to let government work better, it's going to benefit everybody.
Does the rec committee get paid? No,
So what?
rec committee does not get paid.
Parks.
Parks, yeah,
They
Parks and
only
Rec,
once a
yeah.
year anyway.
So it's just emergency government and plan, correct?
Yeah, but emergency government though, I mean, I think that we've got a good group on there right now.
So we've got,
I'll interject, but your membership requirement of emergency government, they have to spend a lot of time to be members outside of those meetings.
Oh, Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And coming from a guy that hasn't had the time to come to the meetings because of everything else that I got going on. So, and I technically get paid to be there.
raise the emergency government and plan commission members stipend from 25 to 35.
So just double that we have for the annual.
It wouldn't be a double.
25 to 35.
Oh, 35.
35, yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
I am too.
So let me
Is there a
just say,
second?
I would second it.
Motion by Anders, second by Williams to increase plan commission per diem and emergency government per diem by $10 So there'd be 35 rather than 25 now.
Permitted.
Correct.
Any discussion on that?
Well,
motion?
I just, I think that non-elected officials that think they're gonna be on a committee, I mean, I'm not even sure they know how much they're gonna get. I think they go on to be, when I first got on the board, I didn't know we got paid, you know? And
Well, let's
I
keep
would, but, well, I'm just saying. I don't know why they wouldn't make the same as we do, honest to God. I just don't get it. I always thought that way.
There was a
Some
motion and a
days I think we
second.
should get more than what we get.
Can't go there. Any other discussion on
I'm
that
sorry,
motion?
who made the motion?
Steve,
Steve Williams, second. To raise Plan Commission and Emergency Government by $10 per diem. So it's 35 rather than 25. Any other discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Secretarial. Clerk. We're going to get some shredding done this
Oh, yeah.
coming year.
I think we need to start sticking some money in there, and we've got
Clean
piles
out
and
the
piles
basement
of
vault.
stuff, yeah.
In the hallway.
In the hallway down there, the court has had a lot of stuff pulled out for several years now, and we've just never gotten around to it, so I just thought if we started sticking $500 a year and see what we can get done. Get a certain, whatever quantity it is, and then Pelletier will come out and do it.
Yeah. Other than that, in the wages, there wasn't much change. Elections are going to be more in '24. That's why the increase there. Treasury, you know, assessor will be held contract, auditor, you know what that's going to be. Judicial. Gone through that. Court. Best guess from Mr. Cole.
Yeah, and like I said, he's got 15 in there for the sewer project. And that's covered by that developer fund at the time.
Mm-hmm. Insurance, 5% increase. Utilities. Now we have to decide if we're going to rekey and if we're going to clean the carpet.
Yeah, I got
And
I got
if we're
everything
going to
in
do the
there.
roof.
Where, next door?
Here,
Oh,
we had leaks again.
When was this?
is it leaking around the screws or is it sheet metals just rotting away?
Where the pipes go through the sheet metal. So like for the furnace and
Yeah.
water heater and stuff like that.
But generally, the rest of the steel is in pretty good shape? No.
With all the rubber by the screws are all baked out.
When was this roof installed?
78.
When was the building built?
78.
Hope you got the life out of it.
Yeah. So how was the decision made to get this estimate?
I got it last year because we started having leaking and stuff, so I just got it. And he said he would honor his price from last year.
Did we consider other
Companies?
companies and other?
I used the one that we've used before. We
That
used it.
shows through the town garage with the
Yeah.
same company.
Yep. They did a really good job and they were a little bit on that by quite a bit, so. I just kind of went with them
Did they
again.
do anything at the emergency services
Fire building
building too?
too, yeah. They did great. Yep.
Needs some repairs, spot
Yeah.
repairs.
They seem pretty good.
They look high to me.
It looks high.
I thought it was high.
So it's not tin roof.
No,
No. It won't be a tin roof. And they'll actually cover this roof. So they come in with foam laying between the ribs, and then they come in with another layer of foam and put over the ribs. And then it's like a big rubber piece that goes over and it tucks over around the edges. And then they take the gutters off and redo those. So that's new
Don't keep the
gutters.
birds off this time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep,
Yes.
it will. It'll get rid of our bird
Get
problem and
rid of
everything
our
all
bird
in.
problem.
Yeah.
It's gotta be pretty noisy sometimes in the summertime inside
Yes.
here.
Yeah. It's a job, just to keep them out.
Would it be a white product instead of a rubber product?
So what?
Well, it's a, they have rubber and then they have like an
It's,
other product that's white, so it might help with cooling in summer.
yeah, it's gonna be just like it's actually like a vinyl.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. I just,
So I included the 48.5 in for town hall maintenance.
Yeah, the number that's in there includes the normal town hall maintenance.
And Zero Res was the only company that would get back to us
Yeah,
to
so
clean the carpet in the office.
we can get more quotes, but I know they were 185 or whatever, so it shouldn't be any more than 200 to put in the budget.
Yeah.
If you don't want to improve that quote right now, you have to. Probably the same thing with the roof, you got an idea.
yeah, we can give more quotes.
Yeah.
And then Capital Lock, are they the only ones that
Yeah,
responded
they were the
to?
only one that responded to that too.
Or
The rekeying, I'm looking at rekeying, and there's two proposals for that. One is just to rekey the master, or the entries, I mean, and keep the same master keys, and then the other is the full rekey of everything. And I think for what the difference is, we ought to rekey everything, because there are some masters lost out there too. And I think it was, I know it was one of the first years that I was here, it was the last time we rekeyed, so like 04
Yeah.
or 05.
Before my time.
So yeah, either 520 or 1,085. And
Yeah, those are way at the back of the packet, those.
Yeah,
I
do
remember
that.
reading it. Did you try other
1,085.
I did try to contact two other ones and they never even responded.
Didn't respond.
So like I said, we can try harder. We're not gonna do it
I,
1st of January or anything, but at least we got a ballpark, you know, we'll be worse than that.
I remember reading it. I did call another one, and got another quote, but it was over the phone, took notes for rekeying. Where is it?
In the back.
Maybe I left it
It might
downstairs.
actually, it might be more close to like in order with the town hall. Yeah, it's maybe
But I have a note on mine.
maybe halfway through. It's not at the back. It's right after legal expenses.
Ah, here it is. Oh my, who's this? This is.
So do we have a problem with putting in 1,085 for the rekey? 200 for cleaning the carpet in the office?
And you're talking for like Flint Hall and everything,
The keys, yes.
rekeying.
Yeah, keying's everything.
I think it's about time, 'cause I think everybody's got keys to Flint Hall.
Here it
And
is.
then doing the roof up here for 48.5.
That needs to be done.
I guess I'd like to see another estimate for this. I mean, you can put that in, but I would still rather see another estimate too.
Okay, so we'll probably lose this one though, because I don't know how long we had to decide to, because I told them we'd let them know before the first of the year.
Well, can't we get another estimate for
Sure.
the next month?
Maybe, yeah.
I'd say that's really cheap.
If we can get somebody out here, yeah.
Who all else, does everybody do those?
I don't know if anybody else does recovers, but I can look into it, yeah.
Is that what you really think is the very best thing that we should do here is recover that?
Yeah,
That's what we did in the shop.
yeah, because then it adds,
Same thing that we did to the roof next door is what we would do here.
it adds R value to your roof too, so your heat loss and all that other stuff too.
Okay, go with it.
I mean, I can get another quote for this style of roof, that style of roofing. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't replace it with a tin roof. I wouldn't
No.
rip this tin off, put a new tin roof on.
No,
I wouldn't do that.
Fine. Everybody else.
What color's the new roof? White?
It'll be
White.
white, yep.
Red, white, and blue. For perspective, I think just the EMS portion of the roof of the emergency services building. And I looked quick and I don't know how I would search it under the spur of the moment, but I think just the lower EMS portion of the roof was $60,000. And that is, I don't think it's any bigger than this. It's a little bit of a different roof because ours has ballast on it and whatnot, but at 48 doesn't seem terrible and you're adding our value.
Yeah. And he's on, I mean, it's basically this year's price. So people are gonna come in and they're gonna, what's going on?
Price.
Yeah, it's gonna go up 10, 20%, cost for next year. So he's willing to waive that for us.
And
Okay,
from my experience, Great Lakes work has been fantastic for us.
Yeah, they're really good.
So we're good with the 1,085, the 200 and the 48.5.
yes.
Yep.
Then Flint Hall's no change. General government. And public safety, it's the sheriff's contract.
Okay. There's that.
Has anybody looked into Gesundheit?
Excuse me.
Even with the overtime that the small amounts of overtime that Jen and the new guy are working, how much we're saving over the fact that we don't have the
Yes.
full body here?
Yes.
And where are we at theoretically to date and then up until, sorry, I thought maybe it was.
I would
looking
guess,
ahead.
but I'd probably be wrong, so I know I have it in here.
I just know, looking at this budget, I know it's gonna get ugly the further we get back in the back and, yeah.
I just think we can't accept the sheriff to say, well, I guess, you can't have this person until February. I hate to say it, I mean.
Okay, for 23 with only having the two, we would save 29,500. With overtime for that period. Is 15,845.
So we're about 13 to
Does she
14.
have in there anywhere comparing that to the number she gave us for?
Pardon?
Does she compare that to the number that she actually gave us, the 494,000? Is that, is this all tied together?
I guess I don't know.
'Cause I
I
mean,
don't
you can say
have
you're
the
gonna save
total.
it, but
Well, for 24, she came up with a subtotal of personnel costs of $417,622 with the one starting on 2/18. And if I put in the Overtime. Normally it would have been $444,093, but with the one not starting until 2/18, it's down to 417,622.
Another 20.
27,000, but then for 24, my overtime costs for that
Same
month and a
period.
half is almost 13,000.
So we're gonna have 25, 26 total savings after the overtime is figured in.
Yeah.
roughly.
Something like that.
Not as much as I thought.
Which will just go in undesignated funds.
Okay.
Okay. So public safety, we're okay on.
Yes, law enforcement at least.
Emergency service building maintenance,
What was the number from the committee?
will never be enough. I got eating problem now again. Fire protection, we don't have any town-owned apparatus. It's, well, we have the one, but it's
You're not separating out the maintenance, at least for it anymore.
right.
So the village will be paying for that. And the fuel and everything.
And then you have, after fire, you have EMS.
So that's only the operating portion of EMS. The capital portion is lower in the budget with the other capital purchase items.
Right.
And that's why it looks like it went down, but it didn't, because last year there wasn't any capital. When you add those two together, it still went up, which you want because of, you don't want to go down anymore.
Fire inspections, building inspections, comes wash, highway maintenance.
So this is all pretty much what Dan put in, other than road signs includes an extra $69.75 for the
All traffic,
subscription on those signs. And stormwater includes that $5,000 that we've been hanging on to forever for the Koshkonong Creek.
Koshkonong Creek.
I don't know if there still might be a chance we're gonna pay that this year, but
Haven't heard anything from them.
you tell me. And then in highway maintenance contracts, this has got in there $350,000 of a short-term note, like we've been doing, except for this year. Plus, there's $6,000 that ATC gave us as part of a project back in 2012. And it needs to be used for highway maintenance, and it's just been sitting there. So I think we should use that this next year. And so that the highway maintenance contracts was bumped up by $6,000 for that. And then also for what's left of that 22 note. So that gets you from the usual 350,000 up to 544,000 that you see there.
Yeah, it's going yippee.
And on highway maintenance on that culvert for Violet's Road, we're not doing it this year. He's reapplying again for it
Next year.
in 24
Yep.
for the two
2 tubes.
tubes.
Oh, so the one big one, the
So
two
we'll
smaller
have,
ones.
Yeah.
we'll pay for it in 24, but we won't get the money
till
from the
25.
county until 25 for their half.
Yeah.
And that's down in highway capital outlay.
Yeah.
That's not part of this highway maintenance number.
Okay.
And
This should be separate, yeah.
highway capital outlay.
This highway capital outlay.
Wait, it's probably
Way over
capital
there.
outlays are closer to the end.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's see, garbage and recycling.
Yeah, but these are based on a CPI estimate, although they don't look like it because the numbers were off in the budget last year a little bit. If you look at it, we budgeted 207,000 and we're only up to 145, so I'm not
Yeah.
sure what happened there, but anyway. So
Landfill monitoring stayed the same as last year. Parks expense went down because we're planning on buying any new equipment.
we do have a little bit of money from ATC. We get that yearly impact fee of like 300 and some thousand, and we got about, we got some of that money left, and we've got like $35 from the Bucks Tree Program from years ago. So we should try to use, I mean, I don't know if I would put them in the budget, it's small amounts, but we should try to
Use it.
use those for something next year. The ATC impact fees are supposed to be for something environmental too. So possibly they could be used for trees too. It's about $700, I think, total. And I can't remember if that's between the two. I think it's about $700. But that Bucks 35, that's been there for like 10 years too. So those are just funds that have been kind of sitting there. We should clean those up.
Use them.
Get some younger trees, you can get quite a few for them, let them out.
And
That'd be great.
We've also got, Chris had me order some oak trees from the
Dane County Tree Board.
the heritage oak trees. We got, how do we get 6 of them or something?
Where we putting those again?
I figured put one in every park.
Oh, yeah,
There
yeah,
were-
okay,
There
remember
were
back when you.
those heritage trees, I think 6 bur oak and 6
Oh.
red oak.
They say
They're
they
free.
need a lot of babysitting. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
somebody in every neighborhood needs to know that someone needs to be watering them.
Yeah, we do.
You do water them?
We water all of our new trees.
Oh, wonderful.
And I thought we could ask Boy Scouts if they wanted to
Great.
take over care of them.
That's a wonderful
Oh,
idea.
too.
I love that.
And those are free.
Yeah.
Great.
So let's see, Colonial Club, same 7,000.
Yeah.
Yahara Winds is the same. It's the last year that'll be the same. Next year it'll probably go up. I don't know that till next year.
Roppers has 12,000 in there for the sewer project.
Uh-huh.
And then we had
3,300 for Fly Dane.
and then you have your capital outlay. Under the fire, we got the squad and the pagers. Highway, you got the F-550 to replace the 2012. And then the Wallace Road box culvert. And then you show the EMS capital outlay. And your F-550 that you're getting is going to be a 4-door?
Extended cab.
Is that 4-door?
Yeah, it'll be suicide style doors. I believe. I think Ford still does that. Extended cab
Really?
style. Yeah. On the Super Duty line. I don't think it's gonna be 4 individual doors. It'll be like the one that opens the half. At least that's what it looked like in the pictures.
Side doors.
That's what they, right? They go the opposite, the back doors.
You have all your debt service.
So then when you get down and look at all the use of surplus funds, and well, first of all, you've got your $350,000 from a short-term note for the road maintenance projects, and then bringing in that $6,000 from ATC, 2 years worth of fire dues money. That's it, I guess. So bottom line now, after the adjustments that I've made here, is $43,298.12. So, I mean, at this point,
You undesignated funds to balance it.
put that in there. You're gonna have, so we just got paid for that tanker. And you're also gonna have about $70,000 coming from the city of Madison
For the Femrite Bridge.
the roads that they took over and the bridge. So that money is all gonna flow into unassigned funds unless you somehow spend it this year, but it's, you know, you're gonna be probably fine, and that's still gonna flow in there. So I think you'll definitely have that to use. The 40, at least for the 43 that you need.
Questions, comments?
So net change in fund balance.
That's a negative number, and that's what you still need to find somewhere. So that's what I'm saying. I would
Use
just
undesignated funds.
assign funds to that.
Well, what do we have there? What,
Right
Well,
now,
we-
$43,298.12 after the adjustments that I made, which were essentially my wage and plan commission and emergency government. They're the three things I changed.
We had what, 63,000 on the truck, fire truck that was sold,
Yeah.
and we got 70 something coming from City Madison for the Femrite Bridge. That'll go in undesignated that we could then use to,
I mean, assuming you don't go over budget a bunch this year, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
what goes in unassigned funds is whatever surplus you have this year plus whatever used to be there and you haven't spent yet. So it's the overflow.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing that much, those two things are gonna overflow for sure.
I think we
that's
did
how
pretty
I
well.
balance it.
fairly balanced, I would say.
I think so.
I mean, even with giving the extra money out in wages.
Yeah.
It's not a hard budget to.
Well, remember, you got $124,000 of ARPA funds in there, and that's the other thing you
Yeah.
should talk about is what that's in there without adding any more expense, which things in there do you want to use that for? And so, I was looking at that. Previously, you had talked, last year, you were going to use more money for park equipment than we actually did this year. Personally, I'm not a big fan of using it for park equipment because I'm kind of worried about justifying that compared to some of the other things that we could be using it for.
I don't think that's a good usage either.
But
Well, we should find out for sure if it's, it
well, I think that
can be used properly. That's all.
I did put a question in to the powers that be, and they've never answered me, but
Well,
I mean, we did use it for some, so we'll see what happens with that, but I think that there are other things that it most definitely could be used for. We had a sheet in your packet showing ARPA funds.
Right, here they are.
You're gonna find-
Ashkenon Creek Project, new parking for Violet Fox Culvert.
Yeah, so you
Pagers.
can use it for that Vilas box culvert. The only thing is that, that's half of it. That's the half that we're gonna have to pay. So you can use it for that. Those pagers, outfitting squad 1, the security system at the emergency services building, assuming that gets through the village, which that is not in the budget anywhere, is it?
No.
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 So,
Yikes.
so that would actually change our bottom line if that goes in there.
It will.
So the things, yeah, that's something we should think about if we
That
want
needs
that
to go in.
in there.
Yes.
Because maybe the commission did not include that in their budget.
The ARPA funds, is there enough to pay for that?
Well,
Security
There
system.
is, but I have the full ALPA funds in as revenue and I don't have that expense in yet, so it would send our budget that much more negative, you know? I don't have that expense in the budget.
Give me that again now, the
I
money,
have
the
the
money
full-
is there
I
to
have,
pay
if
for
you
it.
look at in the top part of the budget where all the revenue sources
Right.
are, I have the full 124,000 of ARPA funds in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the expense for the security system in the budget anywhere. So if you decide that we're gonna pay for that, we need to put that expense in, and that's gonna make your budget go 34,000 more negative. But it is something that you could use ARPA funds for.
And we won't know if the village is gonna approve it until the 13th of November, I think is their.
Or December. I thought December.
So it goes as its first draft, I believe it's the 13th.
of
It's in
November.
the budget, and the way the processes have gone is, once they get through tonight's meeting that they're having just right now with you, the meetings afterwards are effectively elementary and procedural. So the budget that they'll put, that the committee will approve to go to the village board might get subtle tweaks here and there, but overall, the village is going to use ARPA funds for that repair as well, along with the fire department pagers.
So we should probably put it in then.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't know
yes,
why
we
not.
need to put it in
Does
there.
that go, do you think that that belongs in the emergency service building maintenance or as a capital purchase for emergency service?
Emergency service building maintenance.
Yeah, because it's not a standalone,
Because
it can't stand alone by itself.
it already has security system, we're just updating it.
But ARPA funds are outside our budget, correct?
Well,
We have to show them where we're gonna
Well,
use
I
it.
understand that, but it's still money outside taxpayer funds
Yes.
and so on and so forth.
Yes.
it's just a separate revenue source aside from taxes.
So I think it's time we should get rid of ARPA funds.
We will.
I hate to say it, but
Yeah, we have to
We have
use
to.
it in 24.
We have to allocate it, we have to say how we're gonna use it by the end of 24, and we have to use it up by the end of 25.
mhm.
So.
So I would check with the village then tomorrow morning and see if they put the security system in. If they did, then we show it. We show using the ARPA funds for it, and it'll raise our bottom line. We still use undesignated to balance.
Yes,
Is that,
sounds good.
Mhm.
Okay, so then that's, if we do that. So if we, that still leaves 29,69,59. So just under $3,000 of uncommitted ARPA funds. So I don't know what else we've got in here that we can, that's already in the budget, pardon?
did we do, that pages are in there.
Rangers, the culvert, squad 1 outfitting.
Use it on the F550.
Can you use it for
It's new.
vehicles?
Huh?
Can you use it on a vehicle?
Provision of services is what it is, the broad term.
For emergency services?
I mean, no, I mean, what you can use ARPA funds for is basically the provision of government services is the broad.
And that truck provides service.
Yeah.
It's under
Well,
$3,000.
if you're gonna do that, then you would reduce what you borrow.
Yeah.
So that changes your budget again. There's gotta be something
So
else.
it's almost gotta find something else that we don't have in there to spend money on. Use up the rest of the money.
Well, that's
I
what,
volunteer. I'll take the hit.
We just.
I can't. We
It
can't.
would just, it would level out. I mean,
but I mean, we already have, it makes the budget get $3,000 more negative because we already have the ARPA funds all in
Funds
there.
in there.
You could, I mean, you could put it towards the roof, maybe, put.
The what?
Oh,
roof?
the new
Much
roof.
towards the roof.
Sounds good. That's important.
Or the keys.
That'll
That's
take-
not enough.
No, the roof would be good use for it, especially since it's the original roof.
Put towards the roof?
Sure.
Sure, why not?
We have till, we can still juggle that around till the end of next year, but
Yeah.
at least you got it pretty well eaten up.
Okay, so we're done with revenues, expenses, capital, and the use of surplus funds. So now discuss and consider approval of shared service budget for emergency service building for 2024.
So do you want to include the security system in that then? That's not in there already?
Yeah.
Do we have the Fly Dane money in there for next year?
Yep,
Okay.
3,300.
Yeah. Okay.
So is there a motion on the emergency service building 2024 budget to include the security system?
I so move.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Anders to approve the 2024 emergency service building budget as presented with the addition of the security system. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Cottage Grove Fire Department 2024 budget.
That would move approval.
Motion by Anders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fonger to approve the 2024 Cottage Grove Fire Department budget as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is the Deer Grove EMS 2024 budget.
Not one red cent.
Shut up.
Just
We
kidding.
want purple pennies then. Purple pennies for us.
Okay.
I'll move approval. of the
Second.
roof.
Motion by Williams, second by Anders to approve the 2024 Deer Grove EMS budget as presented. Any discussion on the motion?
The one thing I would add per Kim's statement is that for maintenance of efforts, it's not just about the cost. There's 4 factors that go into that. We can discuss that later, but it's not simply about the amount you pay. It's about what we have over there and the level we provide and response time. So there's 4 factors and so if it's segueing to a different discussion in a different time, but if there happened to be a change in formula that cost you less, you wouldn't have to worry about any reduction of shared revenue.
Say, did the unrelated, but yet related, did the issues with the exercise equipment upstairs in the weight room ever get resolved?
Yeah, they've been delivered.
Okay.
Got the new ones up there. They're using them. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is discuss, consider the town hall carpet cleaning.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Dupuy to approve the $200
Up to.
up to.
And so I told them I didn't know if we were gonna do it this fall or next spring, but we kind of thought in the office that it's been bad long enough that we might as well wait till spring and get through the winter. So,
Till the mud's gone.
yeah, so that's what we're thinking about, and that's what I told them when I asked them for a price, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Town hall roof.
Move approval.
Second. Motion by Anders, second by Dupuy to approve the $48,500
Yes.
for
Great Lakes.
the town hall roof. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Rekeying of town hall of town-owned building locks.
And that's all of them. This one, Flynn Hall.
Glen Hall, the garage.
All the buildings, yep.
Not everything but the emergency services and the
That
police
includes
station.
your garage too?
Yep, garage and other sheds.
Yeah.
I'll move approval.
Second. Motion by Williams, second by Dupuy to approve the rekeying of town-owned building locks.
You're looking at the quote that includes the
The
master.
$1,085
Yep.
quote.
I can see the Lions' first meeting and
Oh, I
after
didn't
it's done.
They'll be locked out. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I don't know how else to figure out who all has keys.
Oh.
That'll tell us.
I wouldn't even worry about it.
No, I mean, then
You
we'll.
You'll find out.
You'll find out.
Kim? We need to set a date for the public hearing on the 2024 town budget. Looking at December
Usually we do it the first meeting in December.
4th.
Stand by.
That work for you?
Yes,
Mhm.
Is there a motion to set the date as December 4th?
I'll move.
Second. Motion by Williams, second by Dupuy to set the public hearing on the Town of Cottage Grove budget for fiscal year 2024 for December 4th.
and the special meeting, the electors, you want to do those all in
And
one?
special, you want to include
Yes.
special meeting of the electors?
Yes.
Yes, put that all in one.
You gonna
That's
have it
seven.
start at 7?
7 o'clock.
Yep.
Sure.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. There's only one
I
last.
move we adjourn.
Motion
Second.
by Dupuy, second by Williams for adjournment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That was fast.
Thank you, Kim, for all your
Thank you
elbow
very much.
grease and hard work getting us here.